My name is Umberto Mucci and this is We the ItaliaNews, a podcast about Italy during coronavirus times. Today is Monday, November 30. In the last 7 days we had on average 25,187 new positives per day, or minus 7,719 cases per day compared to the previous 7 days. The variation of new cases recorded in the last 7 days compared to the previous 7 days was minus 23.5%. The descent of the curve is accelerating. We are moving away from the negative peak. We currently have almost 33,000 patients recovered in the Italian hospitals. In the last 7 days, the average change in the number of patients admitted was minus 200 patients per day. It was plus 319 in the previous 7 days. Therefore, the overall percentage increase on the total number of patients hospitalized in these 7 days was minus, this is very important, minus 4.1%. The total number of patients in intensive care units is 3,753. In the last 7 days, the average variation of patients in the ICU was minus 7 patients per day. It was plus 54 in the previous 7 days. Therefore, the overall percentage increase on the total ICU patients in these 7 days was minus 1.3%. It means that for these two data, the maximum peak has been reached and the reduction in bed occupancy has begun. This is very good news. Unfortunately, the number of deaths is not yet at this point. On average, we had 726 deaths by COVID per day in Italy in the last 7 days and 656 in the previous 7 days. The variation of deaths in the last 7 days compared to the previous 7 days was plus 10.6%. It is expected that this figure will start to decrease soon, and let's hope so, because it is the most hurtful. Yesterday, the government has certified improvements of some Italian regions. Lombardy, Piedmont and Calabria passed from the red zone, the one with more restrictions, into the orange zone. Liguria and Sicily from the orange zone passed into the yellow zone, which is the one with fewer restrictions. To make a summary today, the red zones are the autonomous province of Bolzano, Tuscany, Abruzzo, Campania and Valle d'Aosta. The orange zones are Calabria, Lombardy, Piedmont, Emilia-Romagna, Marche, Umbria, Basilicata, Apulia and Friuli-Venezia Giulia. The yellow zones are Liguria, Sicily, Sardinia, Lazio, Molise, Veneto and the autonomous province of Trento. Now, I don't know how many of you follow the car racing Formula 1 championship, but even those who do not have probably seen the images of last night's miracle. It's a miracle during the Bahrain Grand Prix. It looked like a movie and instead it was reality. At the beginning of the race, a car that at that moment weighed 1,650 pounds, of which 242 pounds of gasoline, lost control, crashed at 150 miles per hour against the guardrail and literally broke in two, separated in two pieces. Caught fire, but incredibly, the driver came out with his legs from the flames unharmed. The shell of the car and the protection system that is called Halo and saved the driver's lives were conceived, designed and built in Italy, in the Emilia-Romagna region by Dallara. Thanks to the Halo, the protection of the cockpit, the driver did not suffer any damage to his head, but it is thanks to the shell, whose carbon cell resisted perfectly, that the driver was able to remain conscious and so exit the flames. I was lucky enough to interview last year the founder of Dallara, Gianpaolo Dallara. You can find the interview on wetheitalians.com. He's another magnificent example of great Italian excellence and success all over the world, and in particular in the United States. Before founding his company, Dallara worked at Ferrari, then Maserati, then Lamborghini, then De Tomaso. Since 2007, Dallara has been supplying exclusively the cars that take part of the Indianapolis 500, the most important car race in the US. Not because there is an exclusivity agreement that prevents others from doing so, but because in this 13 years, there has been no one else in the market who could even think to approach the quality and the constant innovation of Dallara. It is a crazy, unprecedented, total domain, and it saves lives today in Formula 1, probably tomorrow in our streets. One of the reasons why the mortality rate in Italy is so high is that the level of healthcare that was there when the COVID arrived. An analysis of how the Italian region spent the money on healthcare, and healthcare accounts for about 80% of their annual budget, shows that between 2010 and 2018, a quarter of the resources spent on healthcare, so 25%, did not produce any service for citizens. Each year, the Ministry assigns a score to the health services that the regions must precisely guarantee to the citizens, thus verifying the functioning of the health service at the territorial level and of the money spent for it. But the data tool used for this monitoring is now totally inadequate. The study shows that from 2020 to 2010 to 2018, among the 11 regions that have provided the best healthcare, only Basilicata is located in the south. All the regions promoted are in the center north, thus confirming the gap between north and south also in healthcare. As I told you, Italy is divided into red, orange and yellow zones. But actually for some people there is also a blue zone, like the color of the sea, the one where cruise ships will sail for the only New Year's Eve parties allowed in Italy. Nothing illegal, let it be clear, because the organizers of these sailing events have simply exploited what was established by the last decree of the government, which did not provide for the stop of cruises. And so they're having great success in selling tickets for these events, in which during the cruises customers can enjoy restaurant meals, swimming pools, spas, massage centers, casinos and parties with DJs and celebrations for the end of the year without ensuring the slightest respect, any respect for any of the strict rules that will make the upcoming festivities for all other Italians a different period than usual, more sober and safe, perhaps sadder, but certainly more responsible. In the package is also included an insurance that will cover the cancellation in case of a new decree that could prohibit these cruises, which we hope there will be. But even in Italian cities, every day law enforcement officers discover some illegal party in which people behave as if COVID did not exist and if more than 50,000 people did not die in Italy alone for this virus. The organizers and participants of these events and of these cruises say they don't want to offend anyone, they just want to have fun. The same thing said by those who had already bought airplane tickets for tropical places all around the world. Listen to this. The return flight of January 2, 2021 from Maldives to Italy is already sold out, both in economy and in business. Those who bought those tickets have been assured that there is no obligation to wear a mask in the Maldives. And then there is the great majority of Italians, really exhausted, who follow the rules, try to survive, look with concern to the future. I'm one of them, and since the goal of these videos is not to let off my steam, I will not say what we think of those who behave as I just described. But let me finish with a good news. Always looking for stories that can give some hope and tell the resilience of the Italians. Today I'm going to tell you about Maria, 101 years old, born July 21, 1919 in Ardenno in the gorgeous Valtellina, one of the most beautiful places in Italy, in the Lombardy. In that Lombardy that was the most affected region by this unfortunate virus. As soon as she was born, she survived the Spanish flu pandemic. She got married during the Second World War with the noise of the bombs that replaced the wedding march. She raised 6 children, adopting also the 2 born in the previous marriage of her husband, who was a widower. She has always been a peasant girl. She lived surrounded by the love of grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Now Grandma Maria has defeated the coronavirus. Not once, but 3 times. 3 times she was positive and then negative within 9 months. She went back and forth from being positive and then negative for 3 times. Maria celebrated with her favorite dish, saffron risotto and polenta. Now I'd like to clone her and spread her cells in the air or water of this Italy so affected by the virus. Obviously we can't do that, so I'll just elect her to represent all the Italians fighting in the Italy that resists. That's all for now. It's all for today. Please, once again, please stay safe and take care of yourselves. My name is Umberto Mucci. This was We the ItaliaNews. I'll see you on Wednesday. Ciao from Rome.